Hi everyone, in this video we are going to cover exception handling in Python. We will see everything about exception handling, what is a try block, what is an except block, what is a finally block. So without any further delay, let's get into this. As you can see guys, I am in a PyCharm and let me write a lecture 26 because we know that this is our lecture 26. And guys, before moving to the exception handling, first of all we should know what is an exception and how it is different from a syntax error. So guys, for them, let me write here first of all syntax error, and I'm going to tell here what is in syntax error first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write some statement. I'm going to say if 10 is less than 20, print 10 is less than 20. Alright guys, so I have write this much thing and you guys know that it is going to print 10 is less than 20 because 10 is really less than 20 in natural, right? Now guys, let me run this code first and let me show you the output. As you can see that guys, I am getting the output 10 is less than 20 now, but if I miss this colon, right, and if I try to execute now, you can see that I got an error which is syntax error, right? I got an error which is syntax error. It telling us that there must be a colon, but you missed that, you haven't put an column here. So syntax error is basically an error where we miss something, we don't write a code syntactically correct. Error actually come before executing the code. Let me show you by writing a statement before it. So I'm going to say print hello. So I have write this statement before this error, right? I haven't put a column on 7th line, but I have write a correct line on a 5th. So if I execute it, you can see that it didn't execute it 5th line. It told us that syntax error. So basically, first of all, when we try to run our program, before executing, it check whether your code is syntactically correct or not. If it is not correct, then it's going to return as error, syntax error. So this is about syntax error. When you don't write your code syntactically correct, so it's not going to execute your code at all. It's going to throw an error which is syntax error. So basically we can't handle this error. For handling the error, we need to tell something to the interpreter that you should handle this kind of error. But you can see that it is not going to execute a single line, right? So basically we can't get rid of this kind of error. You have to write your code syntactically correct. But there is one more error which is an exception. So let me show you how it is this. So let me comment this thing, and guys, I'm going to write here exception. You must know what is an exception before handle the exception. So let me comment this, and I'm going to write some code here as well. I'm going to say nums. Basically it is a list, and let me put some element on that, 20, 30 and 40. So I have entered 4 elements in this list, right? Now we all know that we have a 4 element. So if I try to say print nums of, let's take input from the user. So I'm saying that n, which will be having the value passed by the user. So int input, enter the number. Alright guys, so whatever the value entered by the user, that will store in n, and I'm going to say print that particular index. So I'm going to say print nums of n. So if I try to execute this code, so it asking for the number, and we all know that we have 4 element in the list, so we can go 0 to 3, right? So if I write here 2, that means it's going to print me 30, right? You can see that. But guys, if I execute again, and in that time I don't enter the value between 0 to 3, let's say I enter value 10, and we all know that num is not containing the element more than 11, right? Not more than 10 also. So if I try to execute this, let me put an enter, you can see that I got an error. But focus here guys, it is not a syntax error, it is an index error. It is an exception which is thrown by the interpreter, and you have seen already that it has executed this line 14, right? So it is going to be execute all the line before it until it found an error, and it will throw that exception. So basically we can handle this kind of things, we can handle the exception by writing some code before it. So we are going to see everything about this, how we can handle the exception using a try block, except block, finally block. So let's move to the try and except block, and let's try to handle this kind of exception. So guys, I'm going to use a try block. First of all, I will say that whatever the sensitive thing where I can get an error, I can put all that thing in a try block. So let's say I write here try. You have to write first of all this keyword try, and after that column, and after that just you have to write all the sensitive code after in this block. So I write all this line which I feel like that they may give me an exception. So I put in a try block, and if my Python found any exception, it will throw in except block. So I have to write that block as well, except. And now guys, it is going to be throw, if it found an error, it will throw in this block. So I am saying that if any exception comes, print exception came. Alright, so let me now run this code. As you know that we have 4 elements, so if I try to enter this time 10, then I will not get an error. Let's see that. I got exception came. It threw an index error, right? But it threw index error, but it can't show to the output screen because we have written try block and except block. It will throw all the index error in this except block, and basically I'm not specify here that what kind of error it's going to hold. So it's going to hold all kind of error. If you are not specifying a particular error, it's going to be handle every kind of error. So here basically we are handling index error, but if you want to specify that I want to handle only index error, not value error, type error, you can see on the screen as well guys, we have a lot of exception. We have name error exceptions, we have a type error exception, we have a value error exception, we have a key error exception. So we have a lot of exception, you can see on the screen as well, and we can handle particular exception also by using this try except block. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say a particular exception. If I want to handle, I know that this is going to give me an index error because we are trying to get that particular index which is not present in our list. So it's going to be handle an index error specifically, so I have to write just my index error. So now this except block is going to be handle a particular error which is index error. So if I run this code now, let me enter some random value which is not present in my numbers. So let me enter 100. You can see that it printed me exception case, means it successfully handled this exception index error. But guys, let me comment now these things. I am trying to divide something. I am trying to say print 10 divided by 0, and you know that we can't divide any number with a 0. So it's going to throw a 0 division error, and we can handle that also. But if I try to run this code, as you know that we have written all the code in try and except block, but it is not going to be catch. And why? Let me show you by the output. You can see that I got an error, 0 division error, which is saying that divide by 0. Now it didn't handle this kind of exception. The reason is that we haven't used an except block for that particular error. We specify that it found that okay, I got a 0 division error, now I have to throw this exception to the except block. But when it come to this line 21, it saw that its except block is going to be handle only index error. It is not going to be handle 0 division error. So I have to make another except block, except, which is going to be handle 0 division error. Now I am writing here exception came of 0 division. Now if I try to execute this code, you can see that it printed exception came of 0 division. So basically it threw an error of 0 division error. First it tried to check whether it is having a 0 division error. No, this except is not holding that one error. After that it moved to this one, it found that, so it printed that block. I hope now you understood that how we can handle a specific exception. So now guys, I want to tell something more, that if you want to print something common in both the error, then you can also do by putting a bracket. So let's say this maybe handle this 0 division error. Let's take a value a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 0, and I am dividing a divided by 0. Alright, so this is also going to be create an 0 division error. But what if guys I am having something which is, let's say print 3 plus, and I'm adding something in integer, let's say s. So we all know that we can't add integer plus a string, right? We can't add integer to a string. So it is going to throw a type error. I hope now you understood that this one line is going to throw a type error because we can't add integer with a string, and this one is going to throw a 0 division error. Alright, but I want to say that both the error, if any of the error comes, just print me the one statement that you got type or 0 division error. That also you can do by one statement, one except block. Say that you can say in a bracket 0 division error and type error. So I can hold n number of exception by using one except block as well. So I can say that exception came 0 division and type error. Alright, now if I try to execute, you can see that it give me exception came of 0 division type error. Now if I comment this line, because it was for type error, right? Now if I just say that just give me for 0 division error. So now if I execute, Then also it give me that exception came of zero division or type error. The first time it throw a type error which is catched by this except blocks because it present type error. Second time it throw a zero division error which is also catched by this except block. So I hope now you understood what is a try except block. We can hold n number of error in one exception block. We can also handle all the exception by writing just exception colon. So you can handle particular exception, some number of exception and all the exception by using an except block. We have seen all these things, right? Now guys, there is one more block which is a finally block. So let's move to that particular block. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to write a finally block. Basically this block tells us that whether you are getting an error or not, just print me. So whatever I'm going to write here, print hello, this is finally block. So I have read this statement in the finally, which is telling me that I have to be executed at any cost, whether you are getting an error or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say first of all I'm going to throw an error. So let me run this. I'm going to throw zero division error. So it printed that exception came of zero division type error because we throw zero division error. And after that it printed hello, this is finally block. And you guys can see that this is came because we got an error. But if I don't throw an error, let me write as just simple statement which is not going to throw any error. Print simple statement. And if I run this code now, it printed simple statement and it didn't throw any error, so we didn't get neither this thing. But you can see that guys, we got this thing hello, this is a finally block. You can see here. So it's going to be executed every time whether you are getting error or not. So if you want to show something to the screen that when it's successfully completed or got an error, then you can write all that thing in a finally block. It's going to be executed whether you are getting an error or not. So that is all about guys. We have seen try block, except block, final block. You can write n number of except here. You can handle a particular exception, some number of exception, and you can handle all the exception, right? Like except a colon, and after that write print all exception handle. So you can handle all the exception also by writing this way. So this is all about guys in this video. We see how we can handle the exception, what is an exception and how it is different from syntax error, and how we can handle particular, some number and all the exception, and what is in finally block. So if you like this video, give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe my channel. Meet you in the next video. Thank you.